You crazy?
You're fucking paranoid,
You are
man.
fucking. You are fucking.
You fucking, you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you, bloody. Bastard, bitch.
You
fuck you,
bastard,
fuck
you.
you. Bloody, fuck you, bloody. Fucking mother, bloody, fuck, bitch.
Bitch, you
Bloody,
what
fuck you. Fucking bloody bastard. Bench road, bloody.
Bench of you.
You, bloody.
No, but why?
Bloody, no.
Why?
Bloody fucking.
If accident, then what do you wanna do?
Why you fuck me? I fuck you, bloody. Bloody bastard.
I know, America. I know. That was bad. That was really bad, guys. I understand. That was a disgusting act put on. Excuse me. You want to get out of the camera shot, buddy? Anyways, let me get back to my disgusted face here. Guys, that was gross, right? That whole thing was an abomination. Every aspect of it was bad. Okay, the rest of the world is looking at us like a bunch of idiots right now. Guys, I want to sit here and trying to portray my feelings of hurt and disgust and disappointment, the defeat I felt as I watched that last night, the hope that I had all destroyed in one fell swoop. And at that moment, I remember feeling, sadness about the people who follow Donald Trump, who are of the African American community, and what are they thinking when they saw that? You know, because my hope was that he was starting to build a good relationship with the black community, and now, you know, it feels like he destroyed all of that. But after the breakdown I'm going to give you, I can show you where this doesn't have to necessarily be true. I can show you where things are being purposely portrayed in a way that relates to your feelings, that related to my feelings. Our initial reaction is not always the right reaction. And I'm going to go through what in the world I could be possibly talking about, right? Because I know some of you are rolling your eyes right now and say, oh, you're going to make excuses for him now? Oh, damn, here we go. He's going to make excuses for Trump like all the Republicans are running around doing. No. Not going to make any excuses for his fumbling. Now, I've had some context throughout the day. I've had some thought. I've had some some understanding and some other ideas put to me today as I looked for a reaction on what people were saying about this. And you know, it's there's some things I want to show you and teach you that maybe you'll feel a little bit more enlightened as I do now with what all unraveled here. So I want to go through this step by step a little bit and break down this debate, if that's what we want to call it. Get into the things I found that were disgusting about it, and when I say all aspects of it, I mean the Democratic side, the Republican side, the moderator side, the network that put together this debacle. What did I tell you about Chris Wallace the other day? Told you. Chris Wallace, you were terrible, man. You were a disgrace to your profession, and I hope your peers let you know it. We all know Chris Wallace is somebody who's the fair guy, right? And yes, I'm going to start this with Chris Wallace, it sounds like. Let's get through the easy part first. Chris Wallace is someone who's looked at on the right as this bastion of liberalism within Fox News. He is this person who's always been known as been very fair to the mainstream media, but fair in the mainstream media means very tough on the right and very easy on the left, to put it plain and simple. So he's known as this very even-handed, fair guy to most journalists who tend to fall on the left, of course. But I've always respected him. I've always liked his show, even when I don't watch his show because football's on Fox News Sunday when that's rolling. I go back in the middle of the day or end of the day after football's over maybe, and I go back and look at what was on Fox News Sunday. There's always been something about it I liked. But he himself has interviewed the president multiple times. He knows who the president is. He knows how he is. He's even moderated a debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. He knew baiting him the way he did was going to get this reaction out of him. He acts so surprised now. I saw a statement earlier. He's shocked that it ended up this way. Which, in a way, you know, I can believe. When you hear him say it, he seems like such just a good guy. He just seems like. But honestly, he knew. He knows Donald Trump. At the beginning of this debate, Donald Trump was asked the first question. He got to answer for 2 minutes uninterrupted by Joe Biden. Then Chris Wallace turned to Joe Biden and asked him a question. He got 2 minutes of uninterrupted time and answered his question. Next, they went back to Donald Trump and asked him a second question. And Joe Biden interrupted him 3 times. So, if you want someone to be upset at, you could start there. Started there. But of course it was going to go there anyway. I'm not trying to say that it's all Joe Biden's fault. This is simplistic thought. I'm not that simple. Okay? Let's get deeper than that. He gets interrupted first. Chris Wallace immediately begins to act as Joe Biden's protector. The multiple times Donald Trump had Joe Biden stumped, Chris Wallace came to the rescue. And it seems like what all the media wants to focus on today on Chris Wallace, because there's a lot of people ridiculing him, right? But they're only getting to the surface level stuff, talking about should he have stopped him earlier? A lot of people are saying he should have jumped on top of Trump a little earlier and stopped him earlier. You know, you got to get control. Man, he did as good of a job of that kind of stuff he could do. I'm not complaining anything about Chris Wallace not handling the debate well enough. When it comes to them stopping it and trying to keep Trump under control, you could see he tried to do that. But it was only after setting off, you know, the powder keg, just lighting the fuse a little bit, and then as soon as he starts to go off trying to control him, trying to shut him down, it's like you're pushing and prodding him, and then stop being such an animal. You know, I went back and watched this the second time and took notes on it now. And, you know, we watch it one time through and I was left devastated, right? My shoulders were just... And yeah, I still feel a little diffused from it today, I guess. It was rough. as you all know that watched it. For those of you that did watch it, I think I saw the ratings weren't as crazy as people thought it was going to be. I think it was about the same as the last. I think it was less than the first Hillary Clinton-Trump debate, which is shocking to me. The times we're in, and still not enough people cared enough to watch it. That's maybe there's some numbers that'll come up soon. This is early, but maybe online watching took over and skewed those numbers a bit. One ridiculously crazy fact about all that is that the ratings, the numbers didn't drop off at the end. That means people stuck through till the end. Maybe they're waiting for some hope and something to change and something to come around, or as I was, Donald Trump to say something to make up for his huge debacle that we'll get into. That's right. Nope, not going straight into it. Nope. Hear me out for a little bit first. Back to where I was going with this. Chris Wallace is obviously questioning from the perspective of someone on the left. Right? You can hear it in his questioning. It sounds like it's 2-on-1 through most of the... I'm breaking down the first half here. I mean, through that portion of it, man, no wonder it set Trump off. I feel like this was done on purpose, man. It's only about ratings. That's why it's more like a soap opera now. This is not a serious debate. Slowly over the years, I'm someone who has watched all these debates from 2000 leading up to now. Slowly through the years, it's slowly been broken down over and over to the point to where we're at now. And Chris Wallace totally took advantage of that. It was 2-on-1. He and Joe Biden were cornering Donald Trump. People who are really debate experts and stuff that I've listened to over the last 24 hours, multiples of them have been breaking down the way a moderator acts and how it was so odd what he's doing. Not people who are just some biased Republican or something. These are professional university debate masters, okay? And they're talking about, the way Chris Wallace's rapid fire questioning back and forth, doing a back and forth with Donald Trump at one point, to the point of 6 questions, grilling him, adding to it, grill him again. That's not a good enough answer. Let me give you another one. Give me another answer. I want a better answer. Not once did you see that with Grandpa over here. No. You can see it in I was texting with one of my friends, and he who is anti-Trump and his wife, and he tells me that even his wife was like, it seems like this guy is really against Trump. I think it was the way that she put it. And exactly. Thank you. Even someone who, doesn't really watch this stuff or pay attention, all she knows is that Donald Trump is disgusting and she can't take his mannerisms, then, she's like, this seems a little unfair. I mean, if you're someone who's on the left and you're watching this and you felt like Chris Wallace was the good guy, if you felt positive about him, you had good feelings, you're like, get him, Chris. If you found yourself cheering him on, that's a bad thing. You should feel, and I'm saying there was negatives to how he was acting, and I'm against the way he was, and you feel for and feel good about the way he was, or you feel bad for him. Maybe you have some sympathy for him, which I think we could agree on that in most ways. But I feel like in reality and in the background of this, that he really set this up for ratings. Okay, that's what they're all about. Okay, Fox News would purposely make this like a wrestling match.
President of America! President Camacho!
We've seen this slowly get to this point, so here we are, and that gets you to the point where you're asking one side just because you want those crazy moments, those clickbait moments where you get Donald Trump off on a tangent and just get his face red right when he does that, and he just starts yelling at the top of his lungs, and that you wanted that to come on. You wanted that it's good television. It's entertaining. You want people to tune into these things just for the ratings. It's not what this is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about your your news media's success or not. And like I said, you got him questioning one side with things like, tell me, Donald, what is your health care plan? Vague ass question, just, you got 2 minutes, go. First of all, an articulate, very well spoken debater has a hard time answering that question in such a short time, but they do it all the time. I understand. People on the left and right both can do that. Donald Trump is not of that ilk, okay? That's not who he is. He's not there to break down all the logistics of how he's going to run the healthcare system. Now, trying to nail him down for a healthcare plan is not something that's negative. Of course, you should be trying to do that. It's just sad that you would do that in that way and then not do anything or ask any such tough questions to the other side in that manner. He asked some questions to Joe Biden. I mean, you go back and watch it. I tried to count them out to see how it was. And I swear it seemed kind of even. It was just the level of the veracity of the questioning, how hard and deep it was to each person. Okay? And the type of questioning, was it tabloidy? Was it controversial? Those types of questions only went to the one side. You didn't see any controversial questions going to Joe Biden. There wasn't any talk of, sexual rape allegations. What about his racial issues from the 60s and 70s as he was pushing segregation and sharing, love stories with segregationists? Go look it up, man. Long history of a lot of nasty stuff in his history, man. But no, we're not going to ask him any questions about that. You claim the blah, blah, blah. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden, you called the president racist tonight. What about the story that was written in this date of this time of you saying X, Y, and Z? No questions like that going to be put in his direction. Save all that for Donald Trump. Isn't that unfair? Tell me if that seems a little off. What we did get a lot of was a lot of Joe Biden putting his head down, shaking his head in disgust. Saw a lot of that. He was getting bailed out left and right by not only Chris Wallace, but let's add Donald Trump to being his own worst enemy. This dude, he wouldn't let Joe Biden hang himself, as the saying goes. Right? Donald Trump constantly, over and over again, as I told you, has no debate skills. I told you that in that first video. So I've been trying to tell people, you go back and watch Donald Trump's debates, and he doesn't, he has a way about him that is successful. I don't want to say he doesn't have any debate skills. He doesn't have any of your traditional, the way this thing is normally done type of skills. No, he's not about that. And we know that, but that's okay. He's got his own style, his own thing that he does that's attractive to some people. Okay, so in any case, Donald Trump constantly would pin Joe Biden. Have him ask a question such as, hey Joe Biden, what are you going to add more Supreme Court justices? Are you going to stack the courts? Well, this is something important people want to know. People have heard this is a tactic of yours. Do you agree it would be smart to stack the courts after this is all over if you gain power and you gain the ability to do that within the Congress and whatnot? Over and over again, Joe Biden's been asked this question over the last week since this has been coming up. He won't answer.
Filibuster or packing the court.
Whatever position I take in that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that question?
The question is,
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Senator, you talked about the former vice president looking right into the camera, but his answer on court packing, adding more justices to the court, just sounds like a straight-up dodge. Why won't he talk about what he wants to do, what he thinks should happen?
Well, I think he's very clear, John, which is that he is focused, as we all should be, on the next 35 days. And he is focused on, one, the process by which we're even having the conversation about the United States Supreme Court. We all just honored, and I was there.
Do you agree with your party out there saying we should just stack these courts? You know, let's do that. So they asked him the question, what is your feeling on that? He asked you a question. Let's answer that, Mr. Biden, Vice President Biden. And he deflected immediately. Donald Trump correctly attempted to say, no, Joe, you going to stack the courts? No, you're going to stack the courts? Oh, you're not going to answer that question? Oh, okay, he's not trying to answer that question, Chris. That's a good tactic. That was good. These were the times I was cheering Donald Trump on. There were moments, you know, when he at the beginning when he wasn't going overboard, he was doing it in a correct way. Wait, hold up. He was, but at that moment, I was going into the point of what he did, because in that moment, that's when Joe Biden got away with yelling "shut up" at him.
Because the question is,
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Okay, guys, had to go into day 2 there. While I was on my final little intermission last night while recording here, some news broke that you might have heard of by the time this video is released, eh? So, don't mind the new look here. On the way home from my son's football game this morning, there was a huge Trump flag thing going on outside this area, and I saw this black and white flag hanging. I was like, man, that would look nice as a background. So I just stopped and picked it up. I don't want you to think I just read it close. It's not. I didn't join a militia or something. This is not me joining the Proud Boys. All right. Nope. I think it's badass though, and I do support its message. That's for damn sure. Anyways, guys, welcome back. You just saw that video of Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and my point in showing you guys that was to focus in on how Donald Trump had Joe Biden stumped there, and you had him trapped. Donald, what are you doing? You heard him stumbling and not answering. You said, okay, you said it a couple times. And then, right when you shut up, he started to say some dumb shit. You should have let him go. Instead, you changed the subject and started yelling about something else. What? Mistake number 15. Hello? He was stuck and he was fumbling. He didn't know what to say. You had him. What did you do? You changed the subject to another thing that you should have brought up maybe at some point and used it in the same manner, hoping that the moderator would talk about it. But as you're yelling, as you guys saw there, all of a sudden at the very end, you change the subject to, who's on your list, Joe? So, tell me who's on your list, Joe. Tell me. No, you had him. You had him. And then you started yelling about, tell me who's on your list. And everyone's like, man, what is this crazy person speaking about? Someone put handcuffs on that person. I think we need one of those mental check police people that people are hoping for to come out. We need to send one in for Donald. You made yourself look stupid. Oh, you had him stuck. You know who else is known for being interruptive and rude in the middle of debates? You know what? There's one other person that's known for this, and if anybody had a memory, you guys, or paid attention back then, you would remember in 2012, an individual who happened to be the vice president at the time, running for re-election, named Joseph Robinette Biden. That's right. His middle name's Robinette. I don't know if you knew that. You're voting for someone named Joseph Robinette Biden. just a little fact. I don't think anybody knew. Don't know if that matters, but that's an old man. He's so old. His name is Robinette. That's gotta be funny. Someone. Joe Biden in this debate with Congressman Paul Ryan at the time had a ridiculous debate just like Donald Trump did. You should go check out the video on it. I got a little bit for you here. This dude is doing the same exact thing that he's so upset about, complaining about. Did the exact same thing to Paul Ryan. I was upset back then about this dude named Joe Biden. Well, this dude, I guess he was the vice president at the time. I was so upset about the vice president lowering himself to these standards at the time, right? It seems like it was a whole century ago, back when things were different. Things were different at that time. It was only 8 years ago, man. But I remember. Do you remember? Bet you don't remember. Bet there's no context for any of this stuff that happened in the past. I tried to find a compilation of videos, like a montage of Joe Biden interrupting Paul Ryan, because I remembered it was a thing. So I was trying to freaking Google it. Can't find anything. I think I found something, at least. The little bit that was there, this is one thing I found. You can see the first couple of videos, whatever. But it's not what I'm looking for, because I remember it being constant. And see, everything on YouTube, man, is owned by these major news corporations. The old stuff, like, it's hard to find people talking about it. So I don't know if it's because they get removed. All you can find is their version of it and them talking over it and stuff.
It is mathematically possible. It's been done before. It's precisely what we're proposing.
It has never been done before.
It's been done a couple of times, actually.
It has never been
Jack
done
Kennedy
before.
lowered tax rates, increased growth. Ronald Reagan.
Now you're Jack Kennedy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look how Joe Biden looked. Look at the difference. I want you to pay attention to this next clip. When you watch this one, think of the difference of the Joe Biden you saw the other night. He looked tired. That's all I saw out of him. Look at this Joe Biden.
When Biden wasn't talking, he seemed oddly amused. By our count, smiling or breaking out in laughter 92 separate times. Expressive, often interrupting, and occasionally personal.
I know you're under a lot of duress to make up for lost ground. But I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
ABC.
I mean, come on. It was so obvious that, look, you see that? Even Saturday Night Live made a skit about it back then that I found. They intellectually, hilariously broke down what he was doing. You'll see here that every little tiny non-consequential thing that Paul Ryan said, Joe Biden immediately jumped on for no reason at all. That had nothing to do with anything. And that's what they hit on with this little bit here. Check it out. That was what was happening. That was it right there. They were showing exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? So don't act like all this is new. Okay? This is something that we already went through this just 8 years ago. And I was saying the same thing about Joe Biden back then, but none of y'all were talking about it. None of y'all cared because there wasn't a showman in the White House for the news to bring entertainment upon your homes for you to focus on in such a way. Moving on. All right, so you can see the obvious mental decline there, right? I mean, that is night and day from what we see now. In addition to that, that's exactly what everyone in the media is complaining about Donald Trump doing. I understand it's in a much less vicious way, and I know Donald Trump's way is just off-putting, and it's a little different when you see Joe Biden doing it. He's doing it with class. No, it wasn't with class at the time. Everyone was saying, look at the Vice President of the United States acting a fool, making a mockery of his administration. But now that Donald Trump did it to him, and he just stood there aghast, just doesn't know what's coming at him, and it wasn't good. I'm not trying to say that, but Joe Biden damn sure couldn't do anything about it. I think I felt as I was sitting there watching him, I think he was trying, the game plan was, or I bet, but most of you felt the way I did, right? As you're watching what you felt like Donald Trump berating Joe Biden, you'll tell me that he felt so disgusted by it, and he just couldn't take it, and he just had his head down, shaking his head like, I can't even believe what, and you could hear it in his reaction when he would say stuff to Chris, like, yeah, good luck with that. Well, that was great tactics, Mr. Biden. That was attractive to people, that hit me. Not that it's going to matter a damn ounce in the end, in the long run, because there's so many bigger things at play here. But I understand, and I see it. I get it. Right? So you saw him being interruptive and being rude himself just a little tiny bit. Didn't really do it justice of really what happened there. I mean, if I could find it, dang it. If there was some sort of way of accessing the internet and using some sort of a search mode to find things that I know existed but aren't buried hundreds of pages deep into a search engine, like DuckDuckGo maybe. Search there, the same thing. Didn't it exist, what I'm looking for? Well, I'm trying not to use ABC video that's with them doing a nightly newscast talking about that. I just want to play the real thing so I can have less of a problem of them taking it, off of my video here and blocking me from showing this video, and for just for truth, just to play the real debate. I just want to play a real video and show you my own clips that I could pull out of it and show you where those 92 times that gentleman just mentioned before that Joe Biden interrupted, it was a lot of weird stuff, just nonsense that didn't even mean anything to what Paul Ryan was saying. Multiple times Paul Ryan looked over like, what are you even, did you just interrupt me for that? Just to say that? And I was thinking the same, that you interrupted him just to say some nonsense remark. You threw a bumper sticker remark out and you interrupted his very long drawn out statement for that. It was weird stuff. Now, 8 years later, it's a completely different picture. What we have now. This beaten down elderly gentleman who, like I told you was going to happen in my last video, the Republicans set up as can't make it through this thing standing up even. He'll be a success even if he can make it through it breathing. If he doesn't forget what city he's in, then he'll win the debate. Okay, so that happened, like I told you was going to, and now that's all the news had was like, yeah, for those people who said he had no chance of pulling through here because of his mental incapacity, he's definitely showing them wrong. Okay. He didn't have to do much, he didn't have to say much because he was being rescued all night by Donald Trump, who unintelligently kept doing so. Bad mistake. No skills, Mr. Trump, President Trump. And I want to talk about Hunter Biden for a second. There's so much to what Joe Biden's son did, and Donald Trump keeps trying to bring it up in this format. It's not the best time to bring it up, but I think he feels like exposing this stuff. Like, people are just dismissing it as conspiracy theories so easily when he brings it up because it's the way he brings it up, and it's so easily dismissed because he doesn't have time to really go into these things. I mean, I've watched deep episodes of documentaries going into what Hunter Biden was doing in Ukraine and in China, right? And he's trying to bring it up on this debate stage, and most of you don't even know any of this stuff, and you just dismiss it as conspiracy theory because CNN won't talk to you about it, and when they do bring it up, they label it as such. This is straight up conspiracy theories, just warning you. But the president believes that something about Hunter Biden, getting paid by these, Ukrainian oligarchs and Now there's a story of Hunter Biden getting this huge $3 million payment from the mayor of Moscow's wife, which is some shady nonsense and has something to do with all of this, right? But there's a lot of detail with this. What he did in China, you know, he's working for this company that's selling our military secrets to China at one point, the son of the vice president of the United States. I'm not even going to go into all of it. You guys have to know these things and just know that you're thinking about voting for someone who has a very shady underground going on right now. What Joe Biden did for his son Hunter Biden is a lot of shady stuff. And that's as easy as I can put it to you, because if you cared to hear all this stuff, you would be looking into those things that I've already looked into. And obviously you're not. I'm just going to let you know there's stuff out there that aren't conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, okay? I have people who are friends who are, and I don't fit into that realm, right? I'm not somebody who believes in all. I could break them down to. I'm not going to go into it right now, the things I don't believe. I want to talk about the things I do believe, right? And I believe that Donald Trump trying to bring up all these things on Joe Biden on this stage, when Chris Wallace obviously has no interest in doing so, is not going to let him veer off into that realm of things. Okay, which is sad, because I wish the people could be educated on these things, but it's not the time and place, I guess. And he gets dismissed quickly as, man, he believes in all these conspiracy theories and stuff. What is he doing out there throwing this stuff out there, right? Yeah. But if you had the time, you could easily on YouTube start, looking up, just search Hunter Biden in China. Look up Glenn Beck's documentaries on Hunter Biden, and he goes into deep detail with the proof, with real documents of just proving to you not just saying crazy things. He's showing you the real court documents and the things that have been filed, and all this stuff is being exposed, and it's all really about if it's going to come out before the election or not. Right? This Durham report's going on. Half of you probably don't even know about it. The media has a way of just controlling what you do and do not know. Man, so the Durham report, it's now looking like they're not going to drop it until after the election, when it was been promised to us all this time that Bill Barr was going to give us the meat on what really happened. All these things that Donald Trump talks about with Barack Obama and Joe Biden having their hand in it. It's all true, man. It's going to come out. It's true. I've seen it. I've seen it laid out in timeline. I saw where Barack Obama and Joe Biden were told that these agents that you guys are following are not the Russian agents you think they are. Our intelligence agencies say so, and he says follow them anyway. They were told there's nothing there. Well, we're going to investigate and find something there in this Trump campaign to try to stop things. Woo! There's a lot of heat in there, I'm telling you, and you don't even know about any of it. Educate yourself, y'all. And it's not conspiracies. None of that with me. You're not going to get any of that with me. Sorry. I got real news for you, though. And not just the famous phrase. I got real news. Moving along here, we got to get into this Donald Trump thing, guys. Voided long enough, buried the lead here. But I wanted you to hear me out on some things. But we need to really get into what's going on here with Donald Trump refusing, it would seem, to disavow white supremacy, right? That's the elephant in the room here. Now, when I was watching it, guys, I felt so disappointed. I'm standing there after all this time of me defending, the whole there's good people on both sides there in Charlottesville, because I explained to people how the actual statement went not the media's slant on it and the left slant on it to make you just help to build onto it. Now, it wasn't smooth and it wasn't great and it wasn't the way anyone should handle that thing after Charlottesville. And when I say that thing after Charlottesville, right, I don't mean to minimize that situation, right? We had obvious, I don't know, neo-Nazis, wannabes, whatever they were, young people motivated in a white supremacist fashion, marching with tiki torches, right? By the way, Joe Biden, that's the third time now in this debate he's brought this thing up and said it the exact same way in such a scripted way. I don't know if you remember me mentioning this in a previous video that, dang, this is the second time Joe Biden's done this thing that he's trying to make you, if you just close your eyes and picture them coming out of the woods with clenching their teeth. If you remember, that's third time. He says it the exact same way every single time in this weird way. It's odd. Anyways, getting back, there were these people that were, doing this march and chanting a horrible anti-Semitic thing. They're saying Jews will not replace us over and over again. And no good person would be okay with that. And Donald Trump is not okay with that part. Okay? He was speaking about something more thorough. If you went and looked at the thing before, man, they just trap him with these dumb things he keeps getting himself put in, right? And it would just be easy enough if he just answered differently. But hear me out. They asked him something about the statues coming down, okay? And he was speaking about statues, and these people were rallying against them removing certain statues. And he was trying to say the good people he's alluding to on that side were not the people carrying torches saying Jews will not replace us, but it's easily cornering him into looking like that's what he's saying. I mean, that's child's play, what he sets him up to be able to do. And it was just like the media just does the dirty work, and they know how to just hit on it. And it's his fault too, and how many times can that happen? So maybe it shows to his racism. I don't know. I don't think he's racist. I think he's classist, if anything. I don't believe that he's doing things purposely against black people. It's a lot deeper than that on every single one of these stories, right? With the building the wall and the Hispanic thing, okay? We're talking that he said something that he didn't say about that. The media can run with it. Boom. What about what he said about Mexicans, calling them all rapists and murderers? They're sending us all their rapists and all their murderers. It's not what happened. It's not what he said. Take it out of context that you can make it sound like that's what he said. And they do it so dirty. It's so dirty. So he's talking about, if you go look at the actual the script, the transcript of what transpired there, he was talking about MS-13 and trying to cut them off from them sending us their murderers and their rapists. He's not talking about all Mexican population trying to get into a better life over here. No. He does believe in shutting off that valve. There's nothing racist about wanting to have a secure border to shut off a valve of mass influx of people coming in to overwhelm that safety net that a lot of you on the left love having so dearly. Right? If you don't understand that, I suggest you educate yourself. Ask me any questions you like about it. I could break it down for you. Okay? Not going to go into it now because we're talking about something that Donald Trump did, right? So that's another time that was misleading in the media. Well, time and time again, he gives them the opportunity to. So I guess he gets whatever he gets from it. But I don't feel that I'm supporting some racist individual. I'm sorry. Okay? I don't know how else to explain it to you, but from time and time again, you don't remember all the times he was asked this question before. I know it's hard to remember things, right? Because the media plays as if it's the first time. Yeah, but I think we should go ahead and take a look and see for a second time, in case you haven't watched it over again, exactly what occurred that we're all talking about here.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question. It was very clear. That question was also talked about in the form of groups. I want to know, which groups are you talking about? You have to tell me which groups. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow. And by the way, if you look on my Twitter account, almost immediately after the program, they were disavowed again. You know, it's amazing. When I do something on Twitter, everybody picks it up, goes all over the place. But when I did this one, nobody ever picks it up. Take a look at my Twitter account.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Senator Rubin.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to do that.
Okay. I know that wasn't exactly what you were expecting. Okay, just to point out the fact that question has been asked to him so many damn times. How unfair would it be to you if every time you talk to somebody, damn, Chris Wallace, every single time I'd speak to you, it seems as if this question, you asked me this question. What would it be like if every time you walked up to your coworker and they asked you this question? Do you disavow white supremacy, sir? Oh man, okay, so you ready to see what just occurred the other day? Let's watch that instead. Here you go, guys.
Answer his statement.
Now, you have repeatedly.
Wait,
you have
just 1 second.
No, you've been talking
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to end it.
Sir.
I would love to end it. And
You know,
we
if
would
you want to
very-
switch seats,
we would very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd send in the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay, stop. Hold on. First of all, see that starting off. This is how this question led up to what we got to, the bombshell, okay? This is how it was going leading up to that moment. Donald Trump is trying to speak about Antifa, and Chris Wallace is not wanting to have it, okay? We don't want to talk about that. That is not part of our narrative, okay? So he's trying to get him to talk about what he wants to talk about. He wants to ask him the pinnacle of the evening. This is what he planned out, okay? What?
But they don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared to
do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what
It's an idea.
FBI. His FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is
administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous,
all right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump and Biden records.
They'll overthrow you.
When a president, I'm going to ask a question.
Again, written in transcript, Chris Wallace. Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups? Sure, Trump says. Wallace interrupts. And to say that they need to stand down and not stand down, Chris Wallace said. And to say, he said, okay, let me read that out for you. And to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland. Trump says, sure, I'm prepared to do it, but I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing. I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace. Then do it, sir. Wallace says. Biden says over them both, do it. Say it. Do it. Come on, do it. Say it. Trump says, what do you want me to call them? Give me a name. The same way he did in that first time that, he said, give me a name of a group you're talking about. You're talking about the KKK? Like he said in that first video, watch. If it would have went that way, he would have said the same thing. Of course I disavow the KKK. You saw the video just now I showed you, right? Chris Wallace says, white supremacists and right-wing militia. Biden yells out, Proud Boys. How about the Proud Boys? Trump, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what, somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left. Now, after watching that, don't we have a little bit more of a view of what was going on in Donald Trump's head? Wasn't it obvious that this was an Antifa conversation going on in his head? This was his chance to pounce on the fact that this is a leftist movement, that they've been causing all this destruction in the world, and he needs to be able to get this narrative out there. And Chris Wallace won't allow him to. As you can see him, he's trying to ask him a question about white supremacist groups. And at that moment, Donald Trump is purely thinking, I have to point out to the world that this is a movement of the other sides, not ours, not mine, okay? That's causing all this rioting and doing all these things. And he has to try to fight the premise that the media is trying to put out there, that this is somehow, they're trying to pump it that most of the rioting and destruction is mainly due to right-wing extremist groups. And I don't even know how you begin to put that out there, right? So as you saw in the transcript, if you really listen to how it all broke down, you can hear Donald Trump trying to just get that message out there, and they're not going to allow him to. Okay, so, and at that moment he's asking him what Chris, and while we're watching it live, while I'm watching it live, what looked like the pinnacle moment, right? This is, he's going to answer this question. He's going to ask him this, and he's going to answer it straight out. I can hear him. Oh, he asks him, is he against white supremacy? That's not really what he asked. Okay. In a dumb way, Donald Trump said, give me a group, after talking more about the Antifa stuff and trying to say, mate, why are you asking me about white supremacist groups when we're talking about the destruction's happening over there? Why are we even... He doesn't know. It's just the way it unraveled, man. It was very sloppy and very clunky in the way it all occurred, and for Chris Wallace to let that come out in the way that it did, trying to shut him up so that he could throw this question out to him and sideblind him with it. Now, you would say, wouldn't any regular individual, I mean, I'm yelling at the screen, oh, here we go, we're gonna shut everything down now, we're gonna shut them all up by a statement right now, which didn't before, so why would it now? It wouldn't have shut anything down. But you would think he immediately would have just said, right, in the moment we want him to say, white supremacy, yes, yes, of course I disavow white supremacist groups, just like he did before. But when you threw the Proud Boys thing into there, okay, that changed everything. When you threw this particular organization, the Proud Boys, into it, that gets a little bit more into the weeds a little bit. And maybe he's not prepared to just throw them under the bus like that when they're the main ones in the middle of Portland battling the freaking evil anarchists in the streets. Okay? So I don't know if you don't know much about the Proud Boys. I think we should give a little bit of a breakdown into who they are. If we're gonna talk about how he said that at the very end, right? I was like, damn it! Why did he just? He just sounded like he gave a coded message to a white supremacist group. But if you look at the media's narrative that they're pushing on the people like the Proud Boys that are the only people out there fighting, you know, Antifa individuals in the middle of Seattle and in Portland. I think we should know something about them first before we just go along with that and be like, oh, dang, he is pushing, he's trying to tell them to stand down. You can see right there in the transcript where Chris Wallace used the term stand down. That's stuck in Donald Trump's head as that's his question. Would you tell these groups to stand down? Right? And he said, Proud Boys, yes, stand down. Right? That's what Joe Biden said, Proud Boys. He said, okay, Proud Boys, stand down. Like Chris Wallace said, stand down and stand by. What does the stand by part mean? If you look at the Proud Boys as a white supremacist group, then yeah, I know exactly what you think that means. But if I could prove to you that they're not, then maybe it could change that narrative in your mind. All right? So just like with any organization, I'm sure you can find things. I'm sure, I don't know everything about these Proud Boys, and I bet you I might be defending something I don't even know about. But from what I've found, everything I've looked into, every single one of them, and it's not just lately, I've known about these guys. I've been showing you guys videos. They're the ones that are fighting those crazy umbrella brigades of Antifa fighters in the streets, and they're the other guys on the other side. When it's not the cops, it's these groups of guys. Well, it's these guys that call themselves the Proud Boys, who, that name itself, just saying it feels like you're talking about some you know, America backwood Proud Boys. We're proud to be American. They are proud to be American. That's not racist. That, first of all, the media will make it out to be, yes, it is. No. They call themselves what? Western chauvinists. They just say the Western way of the world, the Western civilization's way of the world, is the best and the most successful thing, and they're trying to say that influence on the rest of the world has brought peace for all these years. And the Proud Boys say they want to fight against that being taken down. And there's no one else to fight against these people on the left and these riot groups, so they feel like they have to fight it, and they're the group that's going to be there to be the counter side of it. So if Antifa is anti-fascist, it's easy to paint the people fighting against them as fascist, isn't it? That's a simple thing to do. You can paint them, because if they're anti-fascist and they're fighting against these people, that must be the fascists that they're fighting. There's no such thing as fascists in this freaking country. I don't even know where the hell they think they're pulling this off. They think Donald Trump's a fascist? Do you know what a fascist is? Donald Trump just had the craziest shutdown of an economy going, where he could have took over all federal power if he wanted to, and resisted every moment of it. One of the biggest things I was afraid of with him was him seizing that type of moment if it ever were to come. That moment came, and he didn't even jump on it and take advantage of it or anything. Do you know what would have happened if this happened in the middle of Hillary Clinton's presidency and it got to the point of a shutdown? You talk about a federal takeover. Whoo! You're lucky. He's anything but a fascist, okay? You can call him whatever you want. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? I'm letting you know that right now. Show me who a fascist is that's known and that's out in the spotlight in this nation, and please point one out to me. All right? Back to the Proud Boys. Now, I heard Gavin McInnes. That's one thing I heard one person say. Well, what about Gavin McInnes, you know? He started it. He founded it. Well, first of all, you'd have a hard time. I heard someone say that this reporter say he says the N-word, and never heard him say that myself. Maybe that's somewhere on there, and if it is, then that shows maybe who he is. But this group itself is not a part. He's not a part of the group any longer, first of all, and I don't know. It's been a long time, but he's had his trouble since he got kicked out of. Just like Milo Yiannopoulos, those types of unsavory individuals just disappeared out the spotlight because the right wants to have nothing to do with those type of people. But I've heard Gavin McInnes in multiple interviews, and I've never once heard him say anything I disagreed with. And I'm not a racist person. I've never heard him. I've heard him defend himself multiple times. But then there's maybe some off-camera thing that I haven't gone in and looked into about with him in particular. But I shouldn't have to, because he has nothing to do with it anymore. It's one stupid individual that may or may not have some sort of racial issues or language used in his past. I don't know. But that has nothing to do with the Proud Boys. Do you know what the makeup of the Proud Boys? These are just proud individuals, Americans that want to fight, and you should see how they do things they're the ones that are like the grown-ups that are out there. They're not really grown-ups. I mean, they're going there to straight do business, but they're more respectful. Antifa and those, they have no sense or idea of any sort of respect. I've posted many videos. I've shown you videos after videos that I hope you've seen them, of the Proud Boy type individuals walking away from all these huge hordes of people attacking them and trying to protect themselves. And it's just a fight in the streets of this weird, what looks like grown-up Dungeons and Dragons going on in the streets of Oregon. But nonetheless, they are not fascists. Prove it to me that they're a racist group. Just the fact that they're using this symbol that says stand by, stand down, stand by. Don't you think if you were this little organization of people, small, inconsequential amount of people we're talking about here. Imagine if you were that group of people that you put together and you've been organizing things in support of the most powerful person on the planet, brings you up in the middle of a debate, brings your group up in the middle of a debate. Damn right they're going to make that a logo of theirs. And they're not saying this in a violent way, man. If you only knew who they are, let's get to know the heart of some of these individuals that claim to be part of the Proud Boys. Let's see what the characteristics are of these individuals.
My name is Edwin Arthur. I'm a LA Proud Boy chapter. I didn't always support Trump. I didn't vote for him because I didn't know to trust it. I didn't trust Hillary Clinton at all and would have never voted for her. So I wanted Trump to prove it. And he has proved it to me, and I will vote for him in 2020. So I believe Make America Great's real. I believe it's real for black people and black Americans to support making America great again. I believe black Americans made America great from the beginning. I believe black Americans make America great. So we should all MAGA. And don't fall victim to a lot of false ideologies, race pimping, and, all that kind of stuff. So I joined the Proud Boys. I looked out and tried to find them for 4 months because I believed in their ideology.
He found us.
And when I found them, they treated me like a brother. All love. We're mixed between all different races, ages, and sexualities.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And sexualities. Yes. We got gay members, Asian, black, Hispanic, and Indian. There's not one Indian. There's not one racist redneck Nazi that I've met
Find
yet.
him and we'll kick him out.
So, and I've been called more racist redneck Nazis than ever, which is very odd.
Very sad.
Why do you think because that's all you hear about the Proud Boys in the media is that
Can I say something?
It's just propaganda.
I think it's people who, there's two types. There's two that know exactly who we are. They know we love people, that we just want freedom. That's all we want. We don't care who you are. We want everyone to be who they are individually. And they don't like it. Because they're communists, they're totalitarians, and they want control.
They do.
And then there's other people who have bought into the lies, and that's what they want. Right. They want to know. Lies, they don't listen. They don't want to learn. They don't want to be waking up to the truth. And they need that hatred to fuel them for whatever that day is. So they're very lost. They're very sick souls.
As a white supremacist, how do I fit into that? Yeah. If they so racist and if they're white supremacists, how do I fit into that? That don't make sense. Yeah. As you can see, I'm a Proud Boy. We're not a hate group. I'm not racist.
You guys are on the whole party, so the party might be a shit show.
I don't support white supremacy.
So we'll see how
Proud Boys don't support white supremacy. You condone that shit. But Ted Wheeler need to resign. If you're gonna be lying to people like that. And start doing his job and help The people of Portland, you know, stop these riots. What's going on, you know? I mean, Donald Trump, you know, he offered to send aid and he turned it down.
45 after.
Why?
Maybe we really start.
You know, because he's part of the problem. That's why.
Thank you for saying that. Like, it's sad today when I have to go talk to a black person in the Proud Boys to get the point of view, because I can go talk to a white guy and they can say they're not racist at all, but you prove it just by the color of your skin, which is horrible that we have a society that way today. But I'm glad that you're willing to talk to me and let me know that the truth. Like, if somebody,
no, I'm not being used either.
What made you want to be a Proud Boy?
You know, I checked them out. You know, I did research on them, and you know. And they say all these things that I haven't seen that, you know. They believe in God, freedom, and the Constitution, you know, and that's what I believe, you know. We have the same values, and I'm standing with them. I stand with anyone that has the same values as me.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is Proud Boys.
In a simple statement, Proud Boys is basically a drinking club with a patriot problem. Is basically what we are. We're a men's fraternity first before anything else. The political stuff is a small portion of the Proud Boys are actually political, but a large portion of us are just dudes that just want to get out once a month and drink beer with the boys.
All right, last question for you. Proud Boys get slandered often as being Nazis, white supremacists. All right, last question for you. Proud Boys get slandered often as being Nazis, white supremacists, racists, white nationalists. You don't look like you're completely a white man. I don't know what race you are, but how do you respond to that?
My family came from Cuba. Two of my family members were executed by the order of Che Guevara and Castro. They were put on their knees, their hands were tied behind their back, and they were shot. Shortly after that, my grandfather thought it was a great idea to leave that shithole of a country and come to the United States, because the United States is probably the best country to live in, and that's why we say that the West is the best. And to me, fascism and communism are the same thing. I put them in the same exact box. It's just a different flavor of what authority over the people someone has.
I don't care what color your skin is. We're all Americans, and we need to find a way to come together instead of divide.
It's a line seemingly at odds with an organization that the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League say is a hate group.
We are in no way, shape, or form white supremacists.
What they are, self-described Western chauvinists.
What does that mean? It means that the West is the best. Western civilization is the best. That's our opinion, okay?
Chauvinism is just patriotism, man. It don't get it wrong with like male chauvinism or anything like that.
We are in no way.
Those are two different
The
things.
left, at least those in Salt Lake City, say they'll link arms with Black Lives Matter.
Man, what kind of white supremacist group are you guys? Your guys' recruiting process is all screwed up. What the hell? I'm telling you, man, just assume you're being lied to. Right? That's what we need to be doing with most everything, guys. Assume we're being lied to. As you saw there, this is more of a pro-American, pro-Western, if you know what that means, Western civilization. It's more of a pro-Western philosophy, okay? Trying to have pride not in whiteness, in Western civilization, and bringing democracy, right, to the world in a way that's been so beneficial. It's brought the whole world along with it. So that's what these guys are fighting for, and that's what they're fighting against Antifa members for. Whether you believe it or not, I mean, I hope I've done a good enough job in proving some of it. Now, I bet we could go find some tweets, because there's probably a lot of guys who are loosely affiliated with these people, not sticking into what the meaning of this is, because I'm sure there's a bunch of those type of people that are probably, maybe some, I shouldn't say a lot, there may be some wrapped up in it, but if you see what they're supposed to stand for, it doesn't say anything about hating people because of their skin color, obviously, from what you saw there. So now maybe with all that, maybe we have a different perspective a little bit. I can't imagine what Donald Trump's, debate coaches, which he was dismissive of, I heard, in the lead up to this debate. Usually you have coaches kind of teaching you through, I heard he had Chris Christie in. Anyways, imagine at that moment when this question is being asked and it's being fumbled through, and the sweat dripping from his handlers, from Donald Trump's campaign manager and his debate coaches. Can you imagine the sweat dripping from their face? Like, what is happening? Wait, no. The answer just went by like that? You can't let it go like that, Donald. I couldn't believe as it continued on, he didn't fix what was said or something. He didn't go back and I was watching, my jaw's on the floor first of all, and I'm just so shocked that this question was answered in the manner it was, and I'm just I'm gonna throw my tablet at this point watching it, and you wonder to yourself, Donald, couldn't you have just easily, I bet you as coach were just, Donald, couldn't you just easily took a moment for some silence for this answer that was going to come out, and just said, easy answer for Donald Trump. Well, Chris, funny that you'd be asking me this question, as if you haven't asked me that multiple times before, which I've answered every time with the exact same answer, which was yes, I disavow any white supremacist organization, any ideology that has that train of thought. Yes, Chris, I've answered that multiple times. I disavow white supremacy. That would have been great, right, guys? I mean, that would have been perfect. He could have said that and then said, now that I've answered this question again, Chris, can we ask my cohort here if he would disavow Antifa for once? Can we just have him explain what is so negative about Antifa? Can you put him on the spot a little bit about that? You would have had the liberty to do that at that point. But no. Messed that all up. So, I guess the question begs, where do we go from here? What can we do to rectify all this nonsense? Well, as you all know, the big news that broke in the middle of me making this video that needs to be directed at a very important thing. The news broke that Donald Trump and Melania Trump and half of his people around him have all come down with COVID. And I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to leave that for the next one. And I'm going to head out of here pretty soon here and let you guys go. But I want to share something with you guys that Ted Cruz tweeted out, a thread that he put down, a really well thought out thing in regards to how to fix this debate problem we got going forward, which is a problem. Okay, you can hear the debate committee, their idea of these changes they're gonna do. They're gonna make it to where they can hit someone's gonna have the power to make a decision on when to hit a mic drop button and cut someone's mic. Who's gonna make the decisions on when to do that? So the decisions that these debate committees are coming up with are ridiculous, man. They're not good. Well, Ted Cruz, I think, wrote out a really well thought out, just a good way to fix all this. So I'd like to share this with you guys. Take a look here. Hear me out. Ted Cruz wrote, "Everyone agrees Tuesday's debate was a train wreck. A major contributing fact was the moderator, Chris Wallace, a registered Democrat, repeatedly interrupting to try to help Joe Biden. The next debate is set to be moderated by a former intern to none other than Joe Biden and Ted Kennedy. This is nuts," he says, "and no Republican should allow this bias to continue in future elections. I propose 2 simple, fair rules for future debates. Number 1, the GOP primary, okay, that's the primary between just the Republicans running. The GOP primary debate should be moderated by people who actually vote in a GOP primary, not Democrat journalists who want GOP to lose, which is what has always happened in the past. They've always had some, constantly CNN moderators and people who are against them moderating the Republicans' debates. People who are against you, your enemies running your presidential primary debates. Next, Ted Cruz wrote, number 2, general election debates should be moderated by an equal number of Republican and Democrats. We should stop pretending obvious bias doesn't exist. Instead, equalize and counterbalance it. A debate moderated by, let's say, Mark Levin and Chris Hayes would be better than fake impartiality. Or a Rush Limbaugh and a Rachel Maddow, or Ben Shapiro and Chris Cuomo. Both sides would take incoming and the debates would be real and substantive. Alright, so tell me, does that not sound better than that nonsense we had the other night? Where you have some biased moderator pretending to be fair, lying to your faces, skewing things one side over the other. I think that sounds like a great idea, Ted. And of course, I mean, this is who we could have had as our president, but no, none of you guys want to listen to me, right? No, nobody wants to listen to James. We could have had that instead of, I bet he could have answered this question a lot easier. Would have to be going through this. Why am I always having to defend Donald Trump all the time? I don't want to defend Donald Trump. It's because the media is making me. They're making me do it, man. Just like a lot of other people. A lot of people on the left walking away from the left. Can't take it anymore. Coming to our side. Because they see this as, the left is taking a nasty turn. Well, anyways, guys, I want to say, God bless the President of the United States and the First Lady. And it sounds like they're okay in health as of now. Hopefully that continues to be the case. Until next time, everyone, I hope you've stuck in. I know this was a good long video, but man, I think it was very valuable, and I thank you for taking the time to listen in. Hook me up with a like if you can. I would really appreciate it. It really helps me. No one is going to hear this message if people don't like this thing. I've got 100-something friends on Facebook, right? I'm only getting 1 or 2 likes. I'm sure it's not because anyone's not liking it. It's just hitting that button. Do it for me, man. I'd appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend, you guys. See what comes next at us. 2020, stay away. Stay away, 2020.